Welcome back. Mr. Wray, how do you feel you have advanced student voice in school during your 9 years?
Yeah, it's one of the things I feel proud of, actually, in my time at South Island. You might be surprised to know when I first arrived here in 2001, there wasn't a student council. I think we have a reasonably well-established student council now. And I think one of the really positive things that's happened in the last 2 years is we now have students represented on the governing body of the school, Parent Teachers Association, reps on the extended school leadership team. So in one sense, I think student voice has come along enormously. We now have student forums. If I look back on where we've come from in my 9 years at South Island, I think we've made tremendous progress.
You talk about the fact that there's still a lot of work to do with regard to student voice. What do you think the main steps that we need to take as a school in that respect are?
Well, I'd like students to be engaged in the discussion of every aspect of policy in the school. One of my slight frustrations with student councils over the years is that despite me saying at the beginning of every year I don't want to talk about toilets and uniform and food, we often get dragged back into those things. And really what I want the student councils to be discussing is the important things in school, which is about the curriculum, it's about learning and the quality of learning.
What do you see in the future for SIS in the development in the next 5 or maybe 10 years?
I think schools could change quite dramatically, where young people can interact socially. The focus is on skill development rather than just masses of information and subjects and that kind of thing. Of not being an education based on 30 young people in a box with a single teacher operating between the hours of 8 and 3.
So given that change of education you talk about, what do you think are the biggest steps South Island will need to take in order to achieve that or in order to adapt to that?
I wish that I'd been more radical in terms of curriculum review, certainly in years 7, 8 and 9.
And yet the MYP is unlikely to replace the IGCSE?
I think we're not yet near that decision yet, but it's certainly an option, yeah.
Okay. Do you have any advice for the new principal who will be replacing you, Mr. Silverthorne?
Yes. Well, I met Graham. He's a great guy. I guess I'd say to him really not to underestimate the learning journey. The wonderful students at South Island are quite different from the kinds of students he would have experienced. I think anybody who moves from a different system, a different country, has to learn very quickly. And I'd say to him, just don't underestimate how different things are coming from the UK to coming to this kind of an international school environment in Hong Kong.
And what would your final parting words with SIS be?
I guess that I'd ask everybody really, what they get out of life is really what they put in. I've given my absolute best to South Island, but what I've got in return is quite amazing. But it's partly what I put in, because my kind of philosophy in life and the philosophy I'd like to pass on to anybody really is the more you put in, the more you get out.
Well, thank you for coming on Analysis, and best of luck at Mulgrave
next year.
That's it for today. Thank you for watching Analysis, only here on SIS TV.